Hello guys, welcome back to the Dreamy Panda. Hope everyone is safe and everyone is doing good. This video I am going to talk about two topics. The first one is the books I have read last quarter and my opinion on them. And the second topic I am going to talk about is the books I am going to read this quarter, which is the April, May and June of 2020. So let's get started. Guys, if you remember, I've told that I'll read 4 books which were The Buddha of the Brothel, The Vicar Fox, The Carpet Weaver and The Crazy Rich Asians for the last quarter, and I've already given my opinion about The Buddha of the Brothel. I found this book a little boring and it wasn't really worth reading is what I felt, so I wouldn't suggest this to anyone. So the first book I'm going to talk about in this video is this book called The Vicar Fox by Cho. So if you remember, this book is about a supernatural creature which is a nine-tailed fox, and it is based on the Korean folktales. So I've particularly enjoyed this book because fantasy is my favorite genre and I always love reading the fantasy books. And the best part about this book was that the writer tried to keep the work very simple. She hasn't used any complex sentences or any unnecessary vocabulary that make it very complicated for a reader. She made sure that the reader feels light and enjoys the book. I have seen different series and movies which are of the same genre and which are about the same supernatural creature earlier, but the best part was I haven't find this book similar to any of this. The story was completely different and it was thoroughly enjoyable and I was totally engaged throughout the book. But the major drawback was the climax. It was kind of abrupt. I felt like the book was snatched away when I was still reading and there was an end to it. It was quite a disappointment because there were many stories that were supposed to be revealed by the end of the book and there were many stones left unturned in the story. So I was a little disappointed and I did not understand why exactly the author would do that. To my relief, I found that there is a book that is coming as a sequel to this book in some days and the author has officially announced it. So let's hope that the next book that is coming does proper justification to the ending of this book. The next book I'm going to talk about is the book called The Carpet Weaver, written by Nimmat Sadat. This book, if I have to explain how good it is in one word, I would say amazing. This was one of the books I've read so far and this book has made it to the list of my favorite reads. The book was very good. It is basically about a boy named Kanishka. The whole story is about this boy who is a teenager and the story starts from where he is a teenager and ends where he becomes an adult and takes his own responsibility. So the story was very gripping and I couldn't resist putting the book away even for a little time. The author was successful in the characterizations and he was very good at making the readers feel how the characters would feel in the book. So all along the book I was literally laughing and crying along with the characters and particularly this boy named Kanishka. So this book is basically about love and betrayal with the war backdrop in Afghanistan and I would highly recommend this book to anyone. The next book I read was this book called Crazy Rich Asians, written by Kevin Kwan. So this book is about a bunch of families who are super rich and are in Singapore and about a girl who comes from a normal family and how she tries to cope up with these people and how she has to adjust and make herself fit into their shoes is what the story about. And I should say that this whole story is description of the wealth, the bungalows, the clothes, the jewelry or the properties these rich families are owning. But all of this setup was actually necessary to keep the story going because everything rotates around this richness of the people. Like the title suggests, it is about these people who are crazy rich and how they use or how they keep up with their richness and how they show it off is all the story about. A small drawback was I felt that I should have seen the movie instead of reading the whole book, because it was a very lengthy read and there was description of every small detail. Yes, there would be descriptions of details in all the books, but because there were so many characters, so many families and all the relations, everything was like a spider web in my head. The writer has tried to make a very clear picture of it by giving certain family tree diagrams in the book, but I was having a little tough time with the characters and too many descriptions of their properties and their wealth. So I felt that I should have seen the movie instead of taking up the book to read. So these were the books I've read in the last quarter, and this was my opinion on these books. If you want to try any of these books, I will be adding the links of the Amazon site in the description below. You can try purchasing them there, and also I'm going to add the links to the books I'm going to suggest next, which are the books I'm going to read for the next quarter. Also guys, just a quick reminder, if you haven't yet subscribed to the channel, please subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon below to be notified when a new video is uploaded. The next part of this video is going to be about the books I'm going to read this quarter, which is the April, May and June of 2020. For this quarter, I've chose to read 3 books, and the first one of them is the book called The Bookish Life of Nina Hill by Abby Waxman. So this book is basically about a girl who loves reading books and has a job according to her interest. She works in a bookstore. Her life is the small world with her bookstore, her mother and her cat, and she always feels that this world is so much better than anything out of this world. But then life is not how we expect it to be always. All of a sudden she comes to know that she has a very huge family with lot of sisters, brothers and cousins, and she ends up living with them. So the whole book is about how she tries to adopt to this new world and how she fits herself into this. So I hope it's going to be a good book, and I'm going to give my opinion on this soon once I'm done with it. The next book I'm going to read is the book called The Secret by Rhonda Byrne. So this book is related to the spirituality genre and has great reviews. So I've been hearing a lot about this book, and I decided that I'll finally read it. And this is going to be about a set of laws of the universe and how the universe works. So I really can't explain what it is at the moment. So I'm going to read it and come back to you guys and give a few lessons if I learn any from this book. The last book on the list is this book called The Great Gatsby, written by Scott Fitzgerald. So this book is a love story which has a very tragic ending, and it is about a millionaire. There is also a movie which has come out based on this book, and this is one of the classics of English literature of all time. And I haven't been reading any classics because I always like to read the contemporaries more over the classics. So I thought I'll finally give it a try and start reading this. So guys, these are the books I've decided to read this quarter, and if time permits, I'm going to add another 1 or 2 books to the list. Of course, I'm going to come back and give you updates on the same, and also give you the reviews to all the books I would read. So I hope everyone is staying home. If not, please do stay home, stay safe, and please take care of your loved ones. Do not go out. Try to maintain social distancing as much as possible to make sure that we fight the coronavirus. Please let me know your current read and also the best book you have read so far in 2020. I'm going to check it out. You can drop the names of the books in the comment section below. Please like, share and subscribe to the channel, and press the bell icon below to be notified when a new video is uploaded.